Come what may, bring it on. I'm gonna love it.
Welcome to LDS Unmarried Life, a podcast for single members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who find themselves single because either they're not yet married, widowed, or divorced. There is no affiliation with the church. You can find this podcast on AnnetteTalks.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or YouTube. Also, I now have a Patreon account at patreon.com/Annette Talks. This episode's a little different because I was supposed to go to Albuquerque for the singles conference and podcast from there. Ended up getting deathly ill, didn't go. And so my correspondents decided to go ahead and report from the conference for me. So I'm now going to turn the time over to my correspondents, Pat and Emily, and they will take it from here.
Hi, this is Pat. I am 49. I have never been married and no children. I live in Mesa, Arizona. And to my left is...
This is Kara. I am 37. I'm single and have never been married, and I live in Denver, Colorado.
And then...
I'm Madonna.
Woohoo! Total 80s.
Total.
I love your gloves.
I'm a material girl. I'm from Alamosa, Colorado. I'm 32, single, never married.
All right, and...
I'm Matt. I'm 37. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm single and I've never been married.
And then finally...
Emily. I have been married. I am no longer married. For 4 years, I have 3 children.
All right.
And I'm so loving snowboarding with all the snow this year.
Although this weekend she hurt herself and was limping around.
That was because it was skiing. Rotten skiing.
It's true. Okay. So today we are assisting Annette because this is the weekend of the Albuquerque's Mid-Single Conference for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, not affiliated with the podcast for AnnetteTalks.com. So Annette was going to do a podcast, and however, she is a little under the weather, and so hopefully from the intro that we sent her, she was able to do this and use this information.
She's a lot under the weather.
Yeah,
if she's a little under the weather, she'd be here. She's a lot under the weather.
It's true because she likes to get her groove on.
Oh, yeah. Especially 80s.
Yeah, 80s. And although Rachel threw her hip out tonight, Annette, I'm surprised, has never thrown a hip out.
Oh, wow.
I'm just serious. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that, but it is what it is.
I missed that one.
So anyways, like to just get everybody just talking here. One of the things we talked about was what are some benefits of coming to a singles conference. And so we're going to kind of go around the room and ask a couple questions. First off, how many singles conferences have we all been to? And were they local or away from, did you travel to go to them? So for me, I've only been to 3. And they were all here in Albuquerque, and this is the first one that I've traveled to because I moved last year from Mesa. So, Kara, what about for you?
I've been to like the day conferences, but not like the big mid-singles conferences. And so, I have been twice. I've never been to Colorado one, but I've been to Albuquerque the first year. I didn't come last year, and then this year.
Okay, and then Madonna?
I've been to 4.
Okay.
Cool. So I've been to 3 here in Albuquerque and 1 in Estes Park.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, was it just recently?
Were you there?
Oh, I was there just one night. I was just there Friday.
Okay.
I had to get back to my kiddos.
I came late Friday, so.
So I would have seen you. I didn't leave till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Midnight, something like that. Yeah.
And then Matt, what about for you?
This is my first one, and I didn't have to travel very far because it was just here in Albuquerque, so I haven't traveled to one yet.
This is my third. This is the first one I've traveled 6 hours to. The first 2 were in Colorado. I've looked at ones in Utah, but it's just never worked out with my schedule. So.
What's the draw, do you think, to go out of area for a singles conference?
Well, when I feel like I've exhausted all of the physical resources and online resources in this area, my area in Colorado, I feel like, well, maybe the person I'm looking for just either isn't in this area or isn't online or physically coming to these events, whether it's get-togethers, dinners, HEGs, firesides.
HEGs?
I was told strictly, it is not an FHE, it is an HEG, home evening group. Because
We are not a family.
we are not a family.
Okay.
Apparently, people pretend to be families. That just is beyond me. But either way, we can call it FHE. We know what's going on here. We're cool. Yeah. All right. So the draw for going out of state is meet new people
That's good.
in person. I'm an in-person person.
Yeah, I did notice at this conference, because all of us this is day 2 of the Albuquerque Mid-Singles Conference, and I noticed the first day when you walked in, you went to all the tables and talked to people.
I love people. I love to meet people. And when I walk in a room and I notice people, I notice when people notice new faces, and then I feel the need to introduce myself.
Okay, cool. Anybody else?
So I kind of agree with Emily, and I think we kind of had this discussion on the way here
We had
since
the
we
best
drove for
discussions.
6 hours.
That was the
That's
best.
Only time to talk about lots of
Yeah.
stuff. Solve all
But
the world's problems.
Bucket list,
Yeah,
just so you
bucket
know.
list.
I want to go on a road trip across the country, preferably with a guy.
Just putting that out
Just
there.
putting that out there.
Okay.
I wasn't going to mention that. But as we were driving, we were talking, and she asked me if I had gone to the Colorado Singles Conference, and I said no, because I figured it was just the same people I always meet. And I said in Colorado, there's kind of a stigma because I've never been married, and I feel like, anyway, everyone that comes to activities has been married. If not married, then married and had kids. And so when I came to Albuquerque Mid-Singles Conference for the first time, it was really nice to meet other people, a lot of great guys, and they were super nice, and they had never been married. So it wasn't like I was the oddball out here in Albuquerque.
Cool.
How was the Estes Park one for you?
Madonna.
Well, where I'm from in
Since
Colorado.
you have the talking stick now,
Yes.
we're going in a circle.
So where I'm from, there's no FHE group for mid-singles. There's no get-togethers at all.
Dinners,
Supposedly,
break the fasts?
no, nothing.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
nothing.
Firesides once a year. Do you get together for women's conference or the Christmas devotional? Or
No, nothing.
Thanksgiving dinner.
No.
What?
There is no.
But yet there's 5 of you here that didn't know that each other was coming, and you all came separately from
Right, that is how it works.
Oh man,
You
guys gotta connect.
They've tried a few times, but
Okay.
the person over it has, I think, kind of
They need the boots.
squashed it.
Give them the boots.
So, I don't know.
Bring someone new in.
So going to Estes Park for me was great because I got to meet a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Coming here is great because I get to meet a whole bunch of people because where I live, I'm the only mid-singles in my ward. So I teach primary. I don't really get to socialize, so coming to these is actually wonderful.
Good.
It's nice. I actually wasn't planning on coming to this one this year, but Annette talked me into it
And then didn't come.
and then didn't come, so it's a bait and switch is what I
Annette
consider
also
it.
talked me into it.
I think we need a support
Stomach
group.
flu. We just- Dude, she is sick. She would have been here.
I
Stomach
know.
flu is no joke. It
Yeah,
really
it's
is no
very
joke.
true.
It's true. It's true. It could be very hard.
We'd have a little
but,
vomit bucket for her if she was here.
Yeah,
She'd be walking around feebly. It would not be pretty.
we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So, now I haven't been to anything outside of New Mexico ones really. I've just heard about a few, and I think for me the big draw would be probably the activities. Because when you went to Estes Park, what did you just go? Wow, this looks like really fun, or
Oh yeah, they had archery and golf and riding horses and I don't know, rock
Wall,
climbing
yeah.
and all kinds of things.
Rope-
So you were-
Sounds
ropes
like a good time.
courses.
Yeah.
yeah, you were in
Yeah.
from the
Jacob's Ladder.
beginning.
Yeah.
Now, did you know anybody going to the park, going there?
No, I didn't know anybody.
Good on ya, Madonna. That is so awesome. I just want to call you your real name, but I'll call you Donna. Because it's difficult to go to, sometimes it's difficult to go to places when you don't know anyone, but man, when you need to get out there, you're like, I don't care if I don't know anyone, I'm going because I'm going to get to know people.
Right. Well, there's no social life where I'm from. There's like no online presence around. Like everything you have to travel.
Mm.
So there probably are, but I don't know. Like he said, there was 5 of us. We didn't even connect that came.
Okay. So there's a disconnect somewhere there.
Yes.
Clearly.
A huge one. A huge one.
Lovely. So do you guys find that even that for this conference, so let's talk a little bit about this conference, because last night we were all together, we had dinner, then speed dating, which was very interesting.
I think it's
And
great
then
to do that at the very
And
beginning
then-
because then people get to talk to each other. They're like, oh, hi, remember me? Yeah, we speed dated because we speed dated everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
We
I
got to
agree.
do the whole round.
Met more people than you would like otherwise the entire like
Oh,
3 days.
absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
it was like instead of like, hey, my name is such and such. Now you're like, hey, I remember we talked about blank, 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 and we have this thing in common or something. I thought that was a really good idea. And I say that as somebody who was like really not looking forward to it. Like I was probably gonna like fake an illness or something and step out and not be part of it.
Oh.
And then I was like, no, I'll do this. That's fine. And then I really liked it because then that was a really good way to meet everybody.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I met a bunch of people in my ward that I didn't know were in my ward.
Oh,
'Cause
because they don't come as often.
Because it might be
They're
more
working,
me,
yeah.
me working on Sundays. It
Oh,
probably
okay.
might be more my fault than anybody else's. There were people I was like,
Well, you're
I'm
not.
Matt, and they're like, I know. I was like, oh. And they're like, you kind of sit in the back there and you look tired all the time. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, you're okay.
Do
You
you
know.
work?
Yeah.
Do you work graveyards sometimes?
Oh yeah, I work a lot of overnight shifts.
Yeah.
And a lot of on Sunday during the day. So
Yeah.
it was good. It was good for me to meet people in my own. I guess finish meeting people in the area because the ward's pretty new. And then I agree 100% with your thought that like I think that was the great thing to do, get it right out of the way,
Yeah.
and then you're already pre-mingled with everybody when it's time to actually like do the activities, because then you kind of at least know everybody's name and kind of a little bit about their background.
And then you know what activities you want to go to, like depending on who's there, like the people you swiped up on in your head.
Yes, yeah. The people I swiped on in my head, I'm like, hey, that person's there or something like that. Yeah, I guess that's
I have
true.
no interest in
Helps you-
tortilla making, but
helps
I
you-
am going
helps
to
you
that
plan,
class.
yeah. I'm gonna make tortillas 3 hours in a row if that's what it takes, right?
You're
That
funny.
is true.
I would agree. I would say speed dating is one of my favorite activities. It really does break the ice. You get to know every single person's name, and like we said, you have a small conversation, and so you have somewhere to start. And pretty much we joked about it all conference. You're like, oh yeah, I met you at speed dating, and that starts the conversation because you've already had a conversation with every single person.
Yeah.
And then what about the minute to win it games? What did you guys think about that stuff?
I like the activities. They were fun. I wish my group had been a little bigger.
Yeah, it was just me and one guy.
Hey, that's just what you wanted, yeah.
Did you guys win?
Actually, we took second place.
There you go.
Yeah, I won the.
Yeah, I think the purpose of those groups should have been largely to, interact with male-female groups, and that's not how. Someone had an idea who was in charge of it, and I think they
Well, I found out
felt the
that
need to keep
through the person who
the way they
organized
thought.
it, that they put me and Annette in the same group.
Oh,
And so our group was small because Annette wasn't there.
oh,
So, but we still won.
yeah.
So,
Bring home the trophy.
yeah, we brought home the trophy or the York peppermint patty.
Yeah, your peppermint patty ribbon.
Not a potato.
Ribbon
Not a
you got,
potato.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, but
You
the
guys were
potato
getting
bar
potato.
was not worth it.
no.
No, definitely not. So,
Inside
I'm
joke.
sorry. You had to be
We're
here, Annette. Okay, so were you pretty pleased with everything that happened so far with the activities on Friday night?
Yeah, I think so. I liked it. I think it was kind of I do agree that it would have been. It was kind of odd how there was that one like the G people. There were like 6
I
of
was
them.
in G.
Yeah, I don't know
G
how
made,
that
like,
how
6
that.
people.
Yeah, there were 6 people,
because-
and then.
All of us from Alamosa decided to be on the same group because some of us,
Oh.
not me, but some of us did not register early enough, so they didn't have a badge.
Oh.
So when they came in, they were like, "Oh, we'll just stick you guys all together." So everyone from Alamosa was
together.
together.
That was probably good for you guys. You could like reconnect.
Or at least plan a different trip?
It didn't really work work because I went to another group.
You guys. We'll keep trying. We won't
And I
give up
actually
on you.
haven't talked to him since then.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. So reconnecting is not really happening.
Don't give up. I believe in you guys.
You guys can make it work at some point, I'm sure. So as far
I
as
didn't get to go to the self-defense class. I was a little bummed about that.
yeah, the self-defense class was interesting.
It didn't start and stop in a timely manner, and so I waited around for 10 minutes, and I was like, well, maybe this one's a 2-hour class, but I did sign up for this time, and it's not starting, so, and they said, please, only 8 people, the first round, so we can make sure we're evenly dispersed, and I was like, deal, done, there are 8 people there.
But they had 20 chairs set up.
Yeah, I thought 8 was only for the escape room, and everything else was 20.
Yeah.
My bad. I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Well, I
eight.
trotted myself on over to the art room and I bedazzled a glass jar.
Yeah, some people made some really cool glass jars. I saw those. Those were cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this year the conference is quite a bit different. I mean, you came to the first one, Kara, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I remember the first one here in Albuquerque. It was 100 plus people, I want to say.
Yeah, and I feel like they got a lot of people out because they had to have a certain number to be able to have the conference in the first place. So I feel like a lot of people came that maybe wouldn't have come because maybe they were coerced a little. But I'm glad they came. It made the conference
Can't we
amazing.
Call that invited?
Strongly invited.
We're strongly, forcefully, repeatedly invited.
Or else.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah, challenge.
They were voluntold. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So there were more people that first year?
Yeah, that first year and then
I think
last
they had
year.
like 10 people on the committee instead of 2, and so it was very
Yeah.
different.
Very well put together.
Yeah, and part of the
yeah,
first year too, from my if I remember correctly, it was that first year was the year they set up the ward as well.
They started setting up the ward.
Yeah, they started setting it
I
up
was
because
gonna say, I
the
don't remember
first
there being a war.
And
Because
then
ward's only
the
about a year
second
old.
conference is when they started the ward, like officially on
Yeah.
and the second.
was that when they set it up? Was
Yeah.
last year?
So now it's about a year
Yeah, the
old.
ward's
That's
about
right.
a year old. Yeah, we just
Yeah,
barely.
that's right.
Like literally, I think like
Yeah.
in the past a couple weeks.
'Cause, like,
we
the
just had the
first
1 year
Sunday-
anniversary. Yeah.
For it was the Sunday of the conference. It was
That's
like the
right.
first Sunday
That's
for
right.
the
Yeah.
ward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally, I enjoyed the activities they did today, especially the different breakout seminar classes, whatever you want to call them. They were actually very well done, and the ones last year were pretty well done as well. But I just think the group this year was more cohesive because it was even smaller. Not that they're trying to dwindle down in numbers, but honestly, it was helpful to see smaller numbers because it was helping people, I think.
Do we have an official number? How many people were there? Do we know what?
To me, it looked like roughly about 50 to 60.
That's what I would have guessed.
Last
50.
night.
Yeah, I would have said 50 if I had to guess.
Because they had 8 tables set up, and there were there were 12 people at each table at least, but all the tables weren't full.
Well, they did say more people were going to be here Saturday
Right.
than there were Friday.
And I think there were.
Yeah, probably all told. Yeah, when you added up all the morning stuff and then the.
I saw about 5 people tonight at the dance at the museum that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, that's
Friday night activities or Saturday during breakfast, lunch, or any of the other activities.
Yeah.
So.
And this year was kind of interesting because the website said that it was a semi-formal dance,
It did.
and it was not
80s.
at all.
Yeah, cause,
It was 80s from the beginning.
yeah, I didn't.
Kennedy was
That
saying
did throw me
no.
off a little bit because it was semi-formal and it was like you need to have a tie.
Yeah.
But then I was like looking at we're serving Rudy's, which
Yeah,
is,
Rudy's is not semi-formal.
which is which is delicious but not formal in any way.
Yeah.
And then the 80s theme. So I think that threw me off a little bit. Not that I have a bunch of 80s clothes or anything available, but.
Right.
Well, now we do. We went
Yeah,
shopping
you guys-
3
you
hours,
guys do.
5 different locations.
Yeah, you
and we
guys
put stuff
are
together.
loaded
It
for.
was fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
We saw a lot of other costume things too. I got to try on some fun dresses.
I just
You
wore
got
the
a nice
dress I
dress.
brought because I
Brought a nice
I
dress.
did.
I had planned for
That's right, with
semi-formal.
puffs.
Yeah. No,
It's for my white wedding song.
yeah. Oh, God. I
The
wanna-
meaning of that song has nothing to do with me. The
Yes.
meaning of that song.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
And next?
So, if you guys were to see a conference, how far away would you travel to go to a conference? And what would be that primary driving factor for you to go? Would you say? Because in this conference here, the first year, it was hot air balloon rides and this other stuff. And there were 3 people from Seattle that came down for that conference.
Oh, with the hot air balloons?
For the hot air balloons.
Oh.
And they got down here, and then the person who did the hot air balloons bailed out. So we didn't even do hot air balloons.
Oh.
So
But the second year we did.
the second year we did
Oh,
do it.
yeah, I wish they'd said something. I just got to church.
Yeah,
I guess that's why I didn't know. It's because the word didn't exist.
right.
I guess that was.
So what would be your...
Well, for me, I don't know if I'd go to California, but I don't know if it's because I have now have a past here. But I like the Albuquerque Mid-Singles Conference. I feel like they really plan their activities well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I really got my money's worth, more than my money's worth. Like there's tons of activities, like
Catered food.
well planned. They had everything
Food's been very
together.
good,
We had
Snacks.
great venues. And if you wanted to dance for 4 hours, you were fine. If you wanted to walk around the museum and then dance, you were fine too. And so there were other options, and it kind of kept everyone busy.
Yeah, I agree. Did anyone go through the museum?
I did. Yeah, I saw a whole lot of it.
Yeah, and by the way, just
I
so you
went
know,
through it.
we
was
were
awesome.
at the Natural History Museum for the state of New Mexico, which the first year we were at the Balloon Museum for Albuquerque.
Which I liked also.
Yeah.
I like that you can walk around and do other things and
And last
kind of
year,
get a
like
break.
that.
yeah, last year
Yeah.
we were at the Botanical Gardens, and it wasn't much of anything. It was basically a room that was too dark and you couldn't see anybody.
Oh. And then there was like an outside patio area.
Yes. Oh my
But
gosh.
it was freezing.
Yes, that's true. It was freezing last year. But this year, yeah, we were...
But I got a centerpiece. I got to take home some grass.
Oh, that's right. There were centerpieces there last year.
Grass?
But we did have
They grew
this
grass
year...
for us.
Okay, all right.
special.
Score.
I
Well-
don't have it anymore. I killed the grass. But it was really fun to have.
Good effort. Madonna, good effort.
So this year at least, the irony is that while we're in the natural history area, it's like there's fossils and stuff like that, and here we are dancing and everything, and the security guards are walking around. Like one of the security people tonight was like taking pictures of us dancing.
Really?
I was like, this isn't an episode of Footloose.
I'm a
Apparently it
little
was.
Apparently
worried
it was.
that the entire dance session was recorded because there is one feature in the museum that had a camera pointed toward the dance floor.
Oh, okay.
And so
Well, that was because
I'm
I got
kind
out
of
there.
curious to see if they record everything or if that's just a fun feature because you can move the camera around and zoom it and play with it. So
Oh, I didn't realize that.
it may have been recorded forever.
Oh,
Well.
great.
Well, there was a lot of people going up on the balconies recording all of the dancing.
Yeah, I think there was.
It happened a lot.
Just people, just part of
Yeah,
everybody.
there's a lot of people
Yeah.
like holding up.
Security people.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I might have recorded Emily dancing with a dinosaur.
Oh.
I recorded her eating.
He had scrawny arms.
Was that the wobble dance that you were doing?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Baby, let it bubble, yeah. I love to dance. I love to move.
It was true, and Annette would have been there.
Oh, moving with me. We would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
like, yeah.
Non-stop.
Nonstop. So tomorrow's Sunday, and so typically on Sunday they'll have like lunch, then they'll have church. I think it's 2 to
Yeah.
4 is when church
Yeah.
is, and then
Yeah.
usually a meal or break the fast or something
Yep.
afterwards. Are you guys staying for the whole conference? I mean, obviously you're still here.
I will. Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah, the whole time.
Emily and I haven't discussed it yet, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's only a 6-hour drive, so.
Yeah, if you're up for it, I just need to be in bed by 11 o'clock so I can get up for
11
work
o'clock
the
tonight.
next day,
Oh no, my bad.
Sunday
Tomorrow
night. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to actually leave tomorrow as soon as church is over with, so I'm going to my old ward here in Albuquerque
Oh, fun. What
So-
time does that mean?
at 10:30.
Oh,
So I'm going 10:30 to 12:30 and then leaving.
cool.
So
You get to see people you know.
absolutely, and apparently our ward is dwindling now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Everybody's leaving since I left, apparently. I don't
It's
think
not
that's
worth
it.
coming anymore.
It's not worth coming. Exactly.
It's not worth coming.
So if you guys were to be on a planning committee for one of these, what would you think or consider as far as a draw to get people in from out of area?
Well, I think just advertising it, because I mean, we have a couple of people that advertise really well and advocate for the mid-singles group. But if those two people didn't do it, I wouldn't have even known about the conference. Like, because one of them put up the website and kept reminding us it was happening, and the other person personally asked me if I was going and invited me. And so I feel like if both those things hadn't happened, because it was already on my radar and I was thinking about it and I was probably borderline, but then when someone personally asked me, I was like, okay, you have a group together, I have a place to stay, we're going to go to the conference together and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea of us all going together. I probably would not have come if it was just me. But if it did come to just me because people were sick, I was like, last night I was thinking, or 2 nights ago, you know what? Okay, let me plan out my trip. Where am I going to stop for gas? How's this going to go? I'll drive, and it might just be just me, and that's okay. I can be okay with that.
I think also playing up whatever the local attractions are. Like, I think that balloon, that sounds like a great idea. You know, I think there's a lot of people who are not from New Mexico who associate it with, hey, there's probably, I mean, they've heard of the balloon fiesta. And so I think that's a really good draw. That, and I think they've done a really good job of showing like the local food. Everything so far has been kind of, all those are like local companies.
Authentic,
like very authentic New Mexican food. And so something like that I think would be a reason to, in addition to like meeting new people, I think just the idea of some sort of local draw, you know, any particular location, if they kind of really play up what their local strength is, here's what we offer that's kind of different life experience on top of coming and meeting new people. You know, I think that's like I would like to have done the balloon thing. That sounds kind of that sounds like that'd be a lot of fun for you know, coming from anywhere.
I really liked the escape rooms this year. I've been to escape rooms before, and I really like knowing what goes into it, because the puzzles are fun to figure out, but I think it would be even more fun to put the puzzles together. I've helped with setting up escape rooms for outdoor ed with youth, because I work with outdoor ed once in a while when I can make it, and they have some escape rooms set up there. And it's just fun to see the puzzling, the creation of that, and where you place things and the clues. And it's just, I love it. So I got to hear about, I got to do both rooms and hear about it. And I realized they made it just for us. And then when they move it out of the room, they had to throw it away. There was no place they could store it. It wasn't put together. It was stapled together. It wasn't put together, like screwed together. So it wasn't like sturdy enough to really store, but they didn't have any place to store it. But they had some very elaborate clues and things that you had to do, mechanisms in that room with magnets,
that was really well done.
And following the order of, you know, the map, cities, and it drug. I looked at the back. I was like, show me that. I want to see it. And they showed me how they put it together. And when you followed the different cities on the map, had you let go, you would have lost that key. So you had to keep that on the map and that magnet on the map and follow it along the wall until the key moved across and around and up and over and then dropped in that little box. So
the one thing I liked really about the escape rooms is it was an activity that involved a small group.
Yeah.
So I ended up with 9 people in our room, and I feel like I got to see their personalities a little bit under stress. I mean, it wasn't super stressed because it's not like real life.
People yelling at each other. And
it was
no zombies.
It was
chasing
kind of fun to do the escape room and to see everyone kind of work together and then review each other's work.
Or those who were not capable of working together.
And then kind of like get a little bit stressed when we couldn't figure out one of the clues, but be willing to try out everybody's ideas. And so I kind of saw some good qualities and some less than stellar qualities. And I really feel like it was an activity that, kind of introduced those people better to me. And I like that because I didn't know them.
Yeah, I agree. Here.
Yeah,
I like that too. That
was
small group and working through a problem. I think that's one of the best ways to get to know people is working through a problem. And it wasn't that life-threatening or serious, and it wasn't our jobs, their pay didn't depend on it. It was This was a different kind of a stress. It was a building kind of a stress.
Yeah, it was nice. The escape room for me, our first group, we went in there and beat the whole thing like 31 minutes.
Sweet.
And the irony was we actually found a lot of the clues out of order.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, they came in towards the end and go, like, have you guys found this and this? And we're like, no, we didn't look there. And went in, found the last 2 clues, and then we were able to get the second clue to the briefcase to open it up.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first clue we figured out right off the bat, and then we didn't know we were supposed to use the keyboard, the 2 keyboards side by side.
Yeah, to decipher. Because did you notice how the keys, I didn't notice at first, and someone said decipher. I was like, oh, because the keyboards were different. Like there's the QWERTY keyboard, and then someone had taken the keyboard apart and put different letters on there
never
so that
paid
you
attention
could
to it.
decipher that. Yeah.
We never paid attention to it. So
That's too funny.
Valerie actually sat down there and figured out the cipher.
Okay.
She manually figured it out on her own. It was
really
without the keyboards.
Sweet.
That was kind of nice actually, because I feel like everyone in that room had a different talent and skill.
Yeah.
Like even randomly there was cameras in there, and I had taken a camera class and knew how to open old cameras. And so I got one of the cameras open. And so it was like everyone had this different skill and ability, and we all came together and worked together.
Yeah. Those were fun.
Yeah, they were. That was fun.
Spencer did a great job putting those together.
Yeah, he did really well. I didn't really offer a skill to my group, but I enjoyed it at least. I guess that was my special skill.
We were in one of the same groups.
Yeah, and you remember me not doing anything.
Yeah, you did. You found names.
What did I do? That's true. I found some names. I did find some names. That is true.
You found some clues that
so
were
you
hidden.
Searched.
I searched. I did.
Other
I
things?
searched, and I found that.
You were patient with people.
I found that doily
They kept
thing.
trying to grab things away from
you.
you.
I was patient with people. That's true. I was like, I don't think you're gonna figure this out.
But,
I'm not figuring it out either. But as a group, we figured it out. We figured it out as a group. Yeah.
I think you did great.
Yeah, we solved it.
So let's ask this question, because we really haven't touched on this yet. But what are some of the cons for the single conferences?
Well, going out of state, one of these ones that I talked about with Emily too, on the way here, is the first conference that we came down from Denver to Albuquerque, and we met the guys, and the guys said, oh, you're from out of town? And then it's like they completely lost interest. And they were like, oh, well, I wanted to meet someone from here. And so while I came down and it was fun, I didn't really build a relationship with anyone.
That's disappointing, because you felt like this was more your crowd. Like single, never married, this was more your crowd, and you were feeling more connected. And then for that to happen, it's not them, it's their technique.
Oh yeah, maybe a better approach on their part.
I personally, the only thing that I can think of really for the singles conferences is just because most single people go by themselves unless they have their wingman or wing person, woman going with them.
Or friends.
Or friends.
I don't call these wing women, I just call them friends.
Just friends.
Okay. Well, apparently Alamosa is a whole different story up there.
Yes.
We're
friends.
not friends there.
Yeah, friends are not friends. Yeah. Friends are just people who all happen to live in the same city who came here.
Yeah, differently.
And I didn't think Alamosa
we didn't even
was
drive
all
together.
that big.
We didn't stay together.
So, actually, that kind of leaves an interesting question. So, for you to just come down on your own, what was the draw for you?
To meet people.
To meet people. Well, obviously, yeah. Because for me, that's the hard thing. You're kind of secluded, especially if you're like in a family ward setup. Mm-hmm. You're the single person. You sit by yourself. Your seat usually gets taken when the family slides your scriptures down on the end of the aisle. Your seat's usually gone by the time you get done.
Or your family saves you a seat, but it's on the next row.
Oh, nice.
That happens a lot.
Isolation seat, yeah.
Wow. That I haven't thought about that one. That one's kind of cold.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
that happens a lot.
You're free to sit in the corner alone by yourself.
I just come in 5 minutes after it starts, and there's just always this spot that's open, and that's where I sit. It's in the very front.
I must have a little bit different relationship with my word, because I actually prefer to sit alone. And every time I try to do that, I'll get waved over to another group or another.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
nice.
I have a good relationship with a lot of people in my ward, and they're like, "Oh, come sit with me, come sit with me." And so even though sometimes it's nice to sit by yourself and you can just concentrate on sacrament, like I end up sitting with people, which is good. I should be more social.
My social life in my family ward is sitting with my nieces.
Which is probably fun.
It's a lot of fun.
You know, but
I don't get a lot paying attention to the
Do you color a lot
speeches.
during the meetings?
Yeah.
Are
and
you
I
coloring? Are there
I bring
Cheetos,
toys for the
Cheerios?
kids, so I have
Well,
fidget toys, quiet toys, and putty and all kinds of things.
well, technically, you're sitting with single people.
This is
This
true,
is
but
true,
it's
yeah.
kind of the wrong age, and I'm related to all of them, so
Yeah, that
it-
does make it a little bit of a different dynamic, probably.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, honestly, it's just the going somewhere by yourself, trying to figure out, okay, well, what's the best place to do? Because I still, when Annette tells me you guys are coming down here, I'm thinking, okay, where are you going to stay at? And I'm going, okay, you're staying in North Valley. Okay, that can have some pretty rough parts of North Valley, but this is not a bad area right here.
Good to know.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of going, I'm just trying to figure out that whole dynamic of going to another area.
I like the ones in Colorado because they have housing for you set up, and it's not the best kind of housing. I didn't realize in Estes Park that there wasn't air conditioning in the one,
There wasn't in
people
any
were-
rooms.
which is unfortunate because that's just, well, it wasn't in the other ones, but in Winter Park. But I guess Winter Park is a lot cooler that time of summer. Anyway, we did have it later. I mean, we had it earlier than we usually do too, right? Didn't we usually have it August, September, August, and this time we had it in like July?
I have
Yeah, so it's
honestly
hotter.
never been
Oh, that's right. It was in
to the
July.
big
July,
Colorado
yeah.
conference.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate that it was hot because that makes it difficult to sleep. And the next day, I don't know, I didn't stay the night and I didn't talk to people, but it just sounded like, oh, that sounds unfortunate. But so I like that everyone's in the same quarters areas because then you get to visit, sleep,
Yes
visit,
and no.
get up. Okay,
Those
tell me
rooms
about
were
that.
really cramped.
Oh,
They had
in Estes.
5 beds in there,
Mm-hmm.
and so you could have like 6 people in there.
So you felt like you were back at like junior high camp or something?
Yeah,
Except no one was wetting the bed over you or anything.
that was the good part.
What kind of camps were you going
And
to?
You know,
I was about to say,
oh.
junior high, there's like,
Emily.
you don't have a lot of standards, but I feel like that's one of them.
Some
And
kids
so-
have never been in a room before.
Yeah.
They don't
And
do
so they
well.
tried to fit as many people in the rooms as they could, and then they probably to get some money back because they're probably pretty expensive. But
Yeah.
then you have 6 girls trying to use one bathroom.
Oh, that's a nightmare. Who thought that was a good idea? Sorry.
And I have
That was a little rough.
6 women that did not know each other. One bathroom.
Yes.
And I feel like that
Unless,
kind of
well, if you brought
That
a
was
friend,
one
you
of
could
the
room
ex-
together. But
That was one of the activities. You didn't know it,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
Get
that
to
is-
know.
It's kind of like an escape room in a way, you know.
yeah.
The 6 of you
They
are
were
all
about
here.
as big as those escape
Yeah.
rooms.
Your goal is to all of you be presentable by the end of the morning. Go.
Yeah.
was
The
like, yeah.
first year we
Yeah.
came, there
You're
was
finding
like
nobody.
5 people to a bathroom because there was about 10 people in the house that we shared. And so there's one bathroom, I think, upstairs, one bathroom downstairs.
This was
Maybe
last year
there's
here.
2 upstairs. And so, but that's still a lot of people and only a certain amount of bathrooms. And so this year when we went to a B&B, unfortunately only 2 of us ended up coming out of like 5.
it was going to be 4.
4.
And there's 4 beds.
And so there was
been
tons of
perfect.
room and lots of space and 2 bathrooms, and we definitely had more space than we needed. So I
Yeah.
kind of flip-flopped here.
Yeah.
So how are you guys finding out about conferences out of area?
I go online and look. Oftentimes they're on Facebook pages that we see things on for singles in our area and that someone else will put on.
There's a website for all the mid-singles conferences
Really?
in
I
yeah,
want the
going
link.
on like all over the world. There's like some in Greece and I don't know, all
And
over the
people
place.
just put them on there.
Yeah, that's good
Who
to know.
updates that list? That's cool.
I don't know who updates it. I don't know
So
who
it's
created
just-
it.
it
I
just
just
magically
found
happens?
it.
Do you know
Yeah.
where the list is?
See
You'll
if
have
I
to
can
text
find
We'll have to
it.
look that up.
Yeah.
See if I can
I
find
know
it.
that there's one. I googled one time like LDS mid singles conferences
Okay.
in the Southwest or something like that, and it popped up like California, Utah, Arizona, Nevada. But the irony, but the irony was it didn't pull up the New Mexico one.
Oh.
So I don't know
Somehow
what they
it
were
didn't get
thinking
on
on that.
Well, maybe they don't know about the group. I don't know.
So
I did see the Albuquerque one on the whatever
The site you're
website I
talking
was.
about?
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah, I guess I just hear through people, like Matt, you were saying, oh, I didn't even know this one was
I,
going on.
I'm this whole world, I guess, is new to me. Like this is a different. Like I think last year when I just went to church because I was just going to church, and like discovered there'd been a conference, and I just was there for Sunday. That was like the first I think
But when you were in Utah, didn't
we didn't. I don't remember it, and I was part of that giant ward. You know, those 3 big wards that, and I don't remember.
900 people.
I did 900 people each in each of those wards before they broke them up, and I don't remember. I don't remember any conference announcements, or maybe people were just doing it and not inviting me, or I don't know, but like it was
Well, it's a general announcement. They'll put it in the
and
bulletin, and they'll put it on your local
you'd
Facebook
think I would have
page
seen
or-
something, but I guess I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention or what, but this is like the first time I went to, and I think last year was the first time that this was really on my radar, and so now I think I am gonna guess Google and kind of look and see what other cities do them and what kind of options are out there, because I've enjoyed this one so far this weekend. It's been great.
I found it.
Woohoo. Well,
It's midsingles.wordpress.com.
midsingles.wordpress.com.
Okay.
No LDS in there, it's just mid singles.
Yeah.
Mid singles. Okay, cool.
But it's all the LDS.
But it is, listings of 30-something mid-singles conferences and mid-singles wards posted and updated on a central blog.
Cool. All right, so there you go.
That's handy to have, and it looks very updated, doesn't it? 2019.
All right.
See, look, there's Albuquerque.
All right, there we go. Look at all these.
Whoa.
There's a mini conference in Tucson,
Wow. So we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Hollywood, California, Gothenburg, Sweden, mid-singles Easter conference.
I'm going to that one.
And you might as well
Yes, let's
you
all
might as
go.
well catch
Wanna use my passport.
the Freiburg, Germany one at the same time.
They don't have
Wow.
stamps.
We
I
could
know they don't
just
do
travel
stamps and
around
passports
and
anymore.
get,
Look at all
stamps
these.
and-
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Yeah, and there is one there right there in Salt Lake, and I'm sure that's well attended. Yeah, over 1,000 expected to go.
Wow.
I would believe that.
Well,
Wow.
good deal. Let's.
How would that speed dating go?
Whew. Wow.
Yeah.
That would
Be there for weeks.
Yeah, it was. For the next week, we were going
That's
to
why
speed date.
That's why it's a 3-day conference.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up everything.
Okay.
So, this Albuquerque conference this weekend, your best takeaway from it, Kara.
I really enjoyed it. I feel like I absolutely got my money's worth, and I would come again.
And Madonna.
It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it, and I would definitely come back.
Matt.
Yeah, me too. This is like kind of opened up, like I had said, this is kind of like opened up a different world for me, and it certainly, I guess because this one was, I think, a success, that certainly encouraged me to probably look into some other ones and attend other ones in the future, and probably this one next year at this time.
All right.
Yeah, ditto.
Ditto.
And if I'm ever asked to be part of a committee, the things that were set up, they had food, they had self-defense, they had art, they had escape rooms. So you got like as an educator in all different types of the brain and that kind of thinking. They got a little bit of everything for people's interests in different ways the brain thinks. So I like that.
I would agree. I most likely will come back again next year. I enjoyed it, but
It's
Well
my
done.
social life. I have to come back.
you have
There
to
you
come
go.
back.
It's well done.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do a
It
great
is well
job.
done.
Yeah,
Very
it is.
well done.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys listening today, and we hope you guys are as concerned about Annette as we are, because before we started this, we actually called her, and we were going to have her be the caller. So we will
Yeah.
turn it back over to her, and we will talk to you again. And
Thank you to my correspondents and guests for covering the Albuquerque Singles Conference in my absence. And thank you, listeners, for listening. Again, you can find this podcast at AnnetteTalks.com, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and I think that's it. Thank you for listening to LDS Unmarried Life, where LDS singles gather.
I'm gonna bloom where I'm planted. I won't take things for granted. Come what may, bring it on. I'm gonna love it.